Hey.
Ian, are you there?
Yeah.
All right. You should switch on your camera. Yeah,
Give me a second.
yeah. You good? Are you there?
Yeah. Hi.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So, what is your concern? This is 2B, isn't it? CS2B. We're talking about CS2B here.
Uh, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
So I was wondering, uh,
Mm-hmm.
if any of my coding assignment is flagged.
I'm sorry.
How do you
Can you
check
say that
that?
again? Hey, wait a sec. Okay. I'm gonna. Um. Yeah. Right. So, can you say that again? Maybe I should just the brightness or something. Okay, that's much better. Ah, that's too much for glare. Okay. Yeah, I don't want it to be, if I set
Yeah.
the light too much, then it kind of reflects off my glasses.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. All right. So what was your question?
Uh, how do you know that when a coding assignment is flagged?
When what is due? Is that
No, when is a coding assignment is flagged of writing, and how do you check that?
all right. So are you talking about the quests that you have to do?
Yeah.
Yes. That's basically our homework. In
Yeah.
CS2B, all of the students have to already have cleared all the blue quests, which I think you
Yeah.
have, right? I mean, I don't know. Or maybe
Yeah.
you're partway through blue or something. I need to go back and check. But oh, the blue is essentially all of the knowledge in CS2A. So essentially, what that means is that the first week of CS2B is essentially for people to refresh on because programming is once you know how to do it, you pass CS2A maybe, right? It is important to constantly be at it, and keep thinking about it all the time. Otherwise, people just forget how to do things, right? I
Yeah.
think. I don't know. So the first week is essentially, refresher, saying here's everything that you learned in CS2A that should be second nature to you now. So we give you a week. And then after that, the students are expected to start working on their own homework, which essentially starts off where, if you, that's why you see the last quest of blue is to do with linked lists and pointers. And the first
Yeah.
quest of green is also linked lists and pointers. So it's kind of, which one is which, essentially. So it's pretty much the same. And that kind of eases you into the green territory. And the green stuff is, here's what I told my 2C students. What was did I tell my 2C students? Uh, I don't know. Okay, so when a person gets to 2C, right? When they get to 2C, if they're interested in 2C, right, the real computer science and all, they should just be totally comfortable with pointers. Totally, 100%. I'm not even talking the slightest discomfort, right? Essentially, they just treat pointers as just another data type, which has its own problems, and you need to look out for certain things. That's it. A new tool, right? You buy a new tool at a hardware store, you need to know how to use it, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's gonna backfire on you. So pointers just a new tool and just new kind of data, which has a certain look and feel. So that needs to be second nature in 2C, but not in 2B. Okay. However, in 2B, what needs to be second nature is essentially the basic mechanics of the language, whatever language, whether it's Java or C++ or whatever it is, Python. I don't know which other courses you may be doing, right? But that is what general, these apply generally, regardless of the language. So what happens is that if what was I saying? Yeah, the very basics of computer science, which we teach in 2A, right? Data representation, looping, iterating, branching, and things like that. That needs to be second nature, and that is what the first week is of CS2B, right? Now, I think we're in week 5 now. So I think that statistically, right? I'm not saying this is what is going to happen. Statistically, I'm trying to remember. This is 2B. This is 2B, isn't it? Not 2A, 2B.
Yeah.
Yes, 2B. Yeah. All right. I think around 50% of the students who didn't finish quest number 3, right? Yeah, that's right. More than 50% of the students actually who didn't finish quest 3 by end of this week, meaning this Friday, right? By this Friday, you should be done with quest 3 completely. So green quest 3. So if you're not done, then you have a greater than 50% chance of a fail. I don't know. These the data points based on very limited samples. So, and obviously, you guys, the more you guys contribute to the data, the more accurate it gets in future. So you shouldn't take this is what the truth is. This is what the truth is. You should say, you know what? In the past, that's how things have been because they didn't have students like me, right? No, I'll go in and raise the average. And so everybody should feel like you and then say, all right, so I'm going to go in, all in. Yeah, all in. So yeah, I think I told my 2C students. Yeah, I think the real danger with most of these students is that they're oversubscribed, essentially, right? Everybody's equally intelligent, but some people just end up being oversubscribed in the wrong directions. And so they're pulling at each other and then they don't go anywhere. All right. So maybe you have something else to do now, but this is basically my take, right? So this is by Friday, you should be completely done with quest number 3, green quest 3. And if you're not done, meaning that not just, got the solution, got the trophies and moving on. No, you should feel comfortable with quest 3. That's what I mean, getting comfortable with the content of each quest each week. And then you'll be fine. Right. So if you you should also consider the possibility that maybe you want to do it next quarter too, right? That's a possibility, and that's something you can think about if you're if you're finding it hard. You can say, I've already done some of the work now, so next quarter if I do the same thing again, it'll be easier. Yeah, but you can also have a head start essentially and start thinking about things and planning ahead and saying, all right, so I got this much. So that's also a possibility. That many of my students do that. That's what I'm suggesting. Yeah. To be, because you kind of look very anxious right now. Okay. So I don't know. The first, now, not so much now when you smiled and all, but, when you're not smiling, you kind of look like you're dreading something, right? So something bad is going to happen or shit like that. Okay. It's not like that at all. Okay. This is only week 5. So you have to take it easy, but at the same time, I think this is just my advice. Don't fritter your time away, right? So you say, I'm going to take it easy, but I am going to give it my all. So you just say, I got 15 hours free, but all these 15 hours, I'm basically just going to play around with this particular thing. Yeah, and get really, really good at using a tool. Because so when my kids were young, they spent like days trying to get the hang of the yo-yo, right? Trying to get it spin right and things like that. And my son, I remember, right, just twirling the pencil, and he used to just practice on and on, like 5 or 6 days just to get it right. Yes, I'm pretty sure people who've done that. Yeah, and I can twirl a pencil, by the way, right? And then I'm thinking, yeah, okay, well, that is a skill they learn. Yes. Just put the same amount of dedication into, well, I'm going to learn about pointers, right? It's not, and twirling a pencil is not just getting it right one time. Yes. It's just, getting a feel for it so that, there's chalking and there's just twirling. Yes. Have you seen
Yeah.
people do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's getting a feel for it. And so it's not like, oh, I got it done once, so I know how to twirl a pencil, like check mark and go. Yeah. That totally is a total waste. Who cares about that in the end? So getting a check mark saying, well, I know CS2B because I've passed all these quests, or I've done these things. That's total waste. You'll forget it. Everybody will forget it. But what people will remember is you just become second nature to you. So you're talking to someone and you're twirling at the same time, right? And that is because it's part of you now. And so you should look at every new challenge in CS2B onwards, or 3B or 1B or whatever it is, your physics B or pre-calc or whatever it is you're doing. You look at these challenges and say, well, you know what, these are the highest, most important things right now. So, I'll cut back on everything and just do this, And I think if you give it your all, you'll basically ace this. So you have to be totally on board and do that, okay? Because I did see you were also questing a lot, right? You're submitting a lot and looking at the code, but a lot of these things come in with little to no changes at all. You're having saying, I got something right. I got 7 trophies, and then you also try more times. But I see that sometimes, and this is the thing that many students I've seen are prone to, is that they just luck out sometimes, and they repeatedly try to see if it lucks out, and it's very rare. It doesn't happen. It's only in the harder quests. I have some probabilistic kind of reasoning with graphs and all. So people have to do that. But 2A and all, but people just keep submitting the same code, hoping that it'll work. And that's like Einstein or someone who said, that's like doing an experiment a million times and hoping it'll be different or something like that. Yeah, that doesn't happen. And so, but I'm not saying you're doing that, but a lot of students do that. But that is a temptation that you have to resist and say, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Right? And many students I see are saying, well, I just need to know how to pass this quest or pass this mini quest. Don't do that. Okay, then you'll find the way the quests are set up is that you can only get so far with that attitude. So you may make it into 2C, or even the later parts of 2B, you'll be dreadfully stuck. Yeah, so I think it would be good if you just assume that this is going to be a big thing and just focus on it 100%, right? Well, when I say 100%, you got to do your essential other courses, but you can do diametrically opposite courses at the same time and hope to excel in both. Right? So for art, for example, I know lots of students who do art and challenging STEM courses. And that is an impossible combination in my mind, unless you're Superman or Superwoman, right? Because, art takes time. It's not like you just go and check mark something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And likewise, learning computer science or any science for that matter, that also takes time. So you got to get, marinated in the mindset. And same thing there. So it's a question of time. And so you can't stretch yourself thin, and say, I'll do a half-ass job here and a half-ass job there. And you just end up doing a half-ass job everywhere, right? And that's no point at all. It's better to just say, I'm going to stay here and really get good at this. And I think that those people really do get good at what they're doing. I don't know, right? I might be totally wrong. But you know what? It's like a Monday morning, so I'm kind of saying hi. So let's see what my students are up to. But really, I didn't want to bore you or anything. But I look at you and I see you're anxious and all. I see, right? Because if I was in your shoes and I was looking like that, if I picture myself looking like that, I would be thinking, oh my gosh, there's an exam coming up next week, and I don't know if I'm behind on homework, and I don't know what the hell I have to do because it's other courses. It's the worst possible feeling, and I have suffered through it when I was your age, but you can get through it, right? But I wish I had focused more, right, on saying I'm not going to focus on diametrically opposite things, which are both taking time, but also the context switch is also taking time. Yeah. And I wish, I'd known these things. So I'd just focus on one thing, get really good at it, and then focus on something else and then good at it. And so that would have saved me a lot of angst also, I think. I don't know. Right. So I'm just passing it on to you. But I think the key to it is just to focus. Okay. And after you submit, just sit down and look at the code. And not just you, everybody else who's probably watching this video too. They got to look at their code and see why it didn't work, and say and run 100 experiments on their own. People have to run experiments on their own. It's like science, right? We don't call it computer science because it is a science. You got to experiment and find out what works, what doesn't work, why does it not work. Yeah, and that takes time. It's like music or any other art. It takes time, and you got to keep on doing that. All right, so that is my spiel, right? I know you just asked for an office hour, and I'm the one who's talking. I'm so sorry, Hien. Okay, but let's say now is when the office hour starts, because you said around 11:30 or something. Right. Now it's your turn to talk. Okay, so go ahead and say whatever you want, and I'll try and see if I can help you, but we can't share a question code.
Yeah. Let me get my question.
You can feel free to use the chat also if you want. Okay. Because I got enough real estate on my screen now, because there's only two of us. Yes. So I can
think so.
Chat window open at the same time.
What kind of midterm are we taking? Are we coding, or is
midterm is going to be just like the syllabus quiz. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna. This is 2B, and 2B guys have a meeting today at 6 p.m. 6. Well, yeah. Mondays. I think they meet at Mondays. Monday at 6 p.m. on Mondays. I think so. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I'll come to that meeting, and I'll just say save all the questions about the midterm, because all these people are emailing me too, right? I can just say, here, if you have any questions about the midterm, I'll just answer them. It's nothing to be scared about, but you got to read the modules.
Yeah.
People, in computer science courses, many students seem to think maybe that the trick is to get all of the programming assignments right, so they know how to program things, right? But that is not computer science. Computer science is learning to do these things, which are actually, realizations of the abstract algorithms behind them. So you got to learn how these algorithms work, which we teach in computer science. And then these programs are just implementations. And you can do them in any language. You can even do them in English. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't just learn how to do it in one language and say, I know computer science. So I'll say this later today. You got to read the modules. There's so much real stuff in the modules that will be so useful to all of you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So I'm sorry. What else?
For the participation point, does that only count in the subreddit of two?
Yes. You got to participate by asking interesting questions, demonstrating your own struggles and mastery in the forums, helping other people, asking, here this I had the same kind of challenge, and here's how you can do, here's what I did that helped me. Maybe you can do this too, and things like that. Okay, and also making interesting observations about theory and what we're studying. You look at our Reddit right now. There's so many people who are making these very interesting posts, right?
Yeah.
So you got to see that if I look at the problem with my perspective, my view, can I see something that's either the same as someone else's, or a slightly different view, right? And then you can write about it in your own words. Okay, so those are the things that count for points. Its participation is not like showing up for lectures and say, I will show up for 24 lectures, so I get so many points. That doesn't make any sense.
But do the Reddit of blue quests also count, or just green quests count towards the score?
Oh, towards the score, you only get 10 points for the blue quests, but you have to do them, right? If you don't do blue, you can't even progress into
I mean like the Reddit of blue
participation points. Participation points.
It's also count?
Yeah. I'll absolutely keep all the posts in blue in mind also. Yeah. But
Yeah,
certainly for CS2B, participation in green will take precedence. There's more weight given to that.
yeah.
But
Okay.
certainly, if you've been helping, phenomenally helping, very nice, profound help to people in CS2A, those totally count for points. Because you can give, PhD level advice to a CS2A student too.
Yeah,
Yes? So, it all depends on what you say. It doesn't depend on where
yeah.
you say it.
And for the how do you check if a quest is flagged with grinding or bursting? Like, how do you know if
Yeah, I
it's
have
like,
these systems set up. I have to, this, I'm making these so many exceptions now that maybe I should just do this manually for a while and see if I can come up with a better system. Yeah, what happens is if the very similar code keeps coming in or things like that, I get flagged. Okay, yeah, not I get flagged. I have a system that'll flag these submissions to me, and then what I do is I reach out to these students and say, well, we have to do a meeting where you have to explain some concept to me because otherwise you couldn't have done this. But you say you did this, so let's say we'll do a concept now, and you should explain this to me, right? And so
yeah,
I can do these meetings with those students. And that's what I have these things set up for.
okay, okay. And I was wondering if there like any extra credit I could like group and project I could join to get some more coins.
Yeah. CS2B extra credit is only available for students who've done all the way up to Green Quest 9. Okay. And also had a good showing on Reddit, not just, screamed past to Green 9. That doesn't make any sense to me. Right?
Yeah,
Just says you can do it. Yeah, so a million other people can do it too. Right?
yeah,
But the idea is to do it, enjoy it, and also spread the joy around every step of the way. And if you've got that kind of profile and got the Green 9, there's lots and lots of extra credit projects
okay.
available.
For the CS2A, is there any extra credit project available or just for
No,
CS2B?
yeah, CS2A also. I've got, but and in fact, one of my CS2A students is currently doing an extra credit project already with me. Yeah.
Um, can I join the thing? Because I
No,
also,
no. You got to. Are you in CS2B right now?
yeah, I'm in 2A and 2B at the same time.
No, you can be in CS2A and 2B at the same time. Who let you enroll in 2A and 2B at the same time?
I got clear, but I need the credit for 2A, so I just
No, but that's not possible. I got to talk,
uh,
to Zach or
yeah,
whoever it is that approved it. You got to somehow change at this point, okay? You can't do 2A and 2B at the same time. It totally does not make sense at all because 2A is a prereq for 2B. You can't do them at the same time.
okay,
All right. So I don't know how, maybe this is just quick path in the system because that is actually not available as an option during enrollment. And so why the hell did it happen? Yeah. Anyway, you can't do that. And and I will reach out to people anyway. Don't worry. Okay. If you've been doing all the cool things in your quests as well as
yeah,
on the Reddit by helping other people, I reach out to these people usually and offer extra credit. Right? Extra credit is not like dangled up in front of students saying, "Hey, here's a prize. Everybody done everything they want. You can go for this prize." No,
yeah,
that's how I used to do it in the past. But it's not a competition. Extra credit is
yeah,
where I look at students and say, "That's a great guy. Okay, that's a great person to actually do something cool." Right? So here's a cool project. Let's see what they do with it. And maybe it
yeah,
just gives them more than the points they get in the thing, right? So they get an iOS app out of it or an Android app out of it, okay? Or a name or YouTube video or something like that. But it'll be an extra credit project that has programming and computer science intertwined with these things.
yeah,
Yeah. And I'm looking for these people. When I have spare time, I basically look through Reddit and I can look at the question logs and look at your code and everything. And and I've done hiring so many times in the past in a different life, so I know what to look for. So I have a close to 100% success rate in the people that I can
yeah.
identify for jobs.
Okay,
Yeah. All right. Anyway, thank you, Hien. And reach out to me and come to the meeting today. Okay, come to the meeting and with all your
yeah,
midterm questions. Get all the
okay,
midterm questions.
yeah. Thank you. Have
All
a good day.
right. All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.